Hi, and welcome to Keysight Threat Simulator. Today we're going to talk about breach and attack simulation and how you can use live and real malware and attack techniques safely to measure and optimize your security controls and the operation of your security program. So we start here on our dashboard page. As you can see, we've been quite busy lately running assessments on our environment here. This is a quick hit place where you can see, maybe risk by location. You can look at some of the trends over time of the different scenarios that you've been running, and quite frankly, whether you're getting better or whether there's a problem that you need to address. Now, before you do that, there's a couple things that you would want to look at. The first is what we call the topology. And in here, there's three things I want to show you. One is our dark cloud. That is where all the bad stuff is, the malware, the attack techniques, all of the stuff that's actually going to assess and audit your security risk. The second thing are the threat simulator agents that we've actually deployed. Each take about 5 minutes to deploy. And in this case, I've deployed one at my branch, my data center, and my DMZ. Yours, of course, will look different depending on what you're trying to measure and where you're trying to measure overall. The third and final thing I just want to quickly show you is our configuration path. Basically, the security controls that live between the threat simulator agent and the dark cloud. This is what's going to allow us to give you some very specific recommendations when we run our assessments. So in this, I've already pre-built this one, but this is where my AWS WAF is living, and I want to make sure that that's actually doing what it is promising to be doing. But you can add any security control that you have here. Maybe you have a Palo Alto Networks, and in this case, you really want to make sure all your IPS signatures are firing. You would name it, save it, and apply it, and move on. So once you have that set up, let's take a look at all the different assessments we have. This is continuously growing, obviously, as new threats and techniques are constantly being developed, but we put into three easy to understand buckets: policy, instrumentation, and kill chain. And of course, you can always filter it by different things that you want to look at. Let's say it's Monero cryptojacking. And in each case, the assessment is going to tell you all the different audits that it's going to run. There's 4. These are the 4 here. We have a full ladder diagram of what's actually going to happen. And if you are interested, you can continue to deep dive and actually get more information about each of the audits, what actually happens, as well as some very useful external resources to help you learn a little bit more about those different audits. So when you find the one that you want to run, let's say you're looking at instrumentation, we were talking about web application security earlier, and maybe I just want to look at remote file inclusion. I can look at that information here, and actually I just want to create a scenario using this assessment. So you're going to come to the create a scenario screen. You're going to see that it's all pre-built with what we want to do. But if I wanted to change it at this point, I could. I could change it to a kill chain one or a policy one. If I was running a kill chain and I wanted to test lateral movement, I'd actually have 2 agents talking to one another. But in this case, we just have the one. So let's look at our data center agent, and we're going to name this demo RFI web app security. And I'm going to add this and run the scenario. So as you see, our assessment is now running, and it's going live across this network from that dark cloud to the agent that I selected. There are 8 different audits that are being run in this, and as it goes through that, you'll see my prevention score and then my detection score per the SIM. Integrating your SIM is very easy with Threat Simulator, and this will give you some very granular recommendations as well as just a lot more insight into your total risk across your security controls. So as this is running, you can see above all of the different assessments that we have been running, how they have been doing over time, and I can always go in and actually get more details of that. And you can generate the PCAP from those. You can, again, dive into more granularity of what actually happened overall. But, what people are really interested in are recommendations. And in this instance, we were testing our IPS signatures, as we were talking about actually before. And what we'll see here is all the different types all the different recommendations that you're going to want to do. We obviously have a lot to do in this one, but I'm going to look for one in particular, maybe, up here at the top, and it's going to give me a specific example and recommendation of what I need to do, some outside resources to understand what's going on, as well as a link directly to my Palo Alto center so that I can see how to actually make that recommendation and fix it. And what I would want to do in that is make sure that I am continuously testing this. And so I can schedule this to run on a daily basis or an hourly basis, and I can just see how I'm doing over time. As you see here, we've now run 5 of 8 of our total audits, and we can actually jump in here and look at what's going on. So we're 0 for 5 so far in our audit results, as you see. And again, I can explode these. I can look at more details of what's going on in terms of all the different audits, look at the recommendations, get specific things that I should do over time, those outside resources, and again, in this case, go to my Palo Alto Networks firewall and make that fix. Thank you so much for joining us for this quick demonstration of Threat Simulator and breach and attack simulation.